All right. Welcome back for another week of the Wildly Painful podcast.
And you are Jay.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Nicole.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
We've already had amazing conversations and we have so much going on in our lives, but one thing that we hadn't talked about yet, which I've been excited to talk to you about yet.
Okay.
And we talked about manifestation. Okay. So, Jay knows a lot about manifestation. And one of the tricky things, I guess, let me try to say it and let me see if it's well said. One of the tricky things about manifestation is that if you say want a circumstance out of your life or you want a circumstance in your life, maintaining mental balance with respect to these things and detachment with respect to these things can be hard because maybe you hate this person or maybe you are feeling broke and desperate for money. So the emotional attachments that you have, positive or negative to things, make manifestation hard. Is that well said?
Absolutely.
So one excellent suggestion that you had this week is the ladder. Okay? So you told me about the ladder and it struck me immediately as brilliant. Okay? So the ladder is something that Jay told me about, that where you are going to imagine that you're climbing a ladder and you're going to do that before bed and you're going to get all the details about it. What does it feel like on your hands? Where are your hands? Like I have tattoos, so can you envision the tattoos on the ladder and what's the shape of it? And can you imagine like your weight? This is brilliant manifestation technique because you don't feel particularly attached or negatively or positively toward whether or not you're going to climb a ladder.
Right.
So you told me about this on Sunday. I took it for homework.
Oh.
And I worked on it. Okay, I'll tell you some things that went well, and I'll tell you some things that maybe I have questions about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first night that I went to go picture the ladder, one thing that I liked about it is that when I was challenging myself to imagine all the details of something, I felt like genuine joy when I did it. Like it felt like a joyful activity. It felt like gold light was coming naturally and I was just like really enjoying it. My imagination. Something I loved going over it and over it again. I put myself really in there. But then, for better or for worse, it evolved because my creativity also was like wanting to make it slightly different. So the scene that I ended up creating instead of the ladder, because it felt like joyful creativity, is like I'm in like a blazer. I'm like professionally dressed and it's a staircase now. And for whatever reason, I really wanted it to be a gold staircase. And cognitively, I'm like, I don't see very many gold staircases. And it was just like 2 or 3 steps to get up to a platform. And everyone's there like applauding me for something. Maybe I'm giving like a speech or something. So I've added some complexity, but I've also added enough details that it's interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I can look down and see the shirt and the blazer and my shoes. I can see the gold stairs and the gold handles on it. And I can be happy about the people welcoming me or whatever. So it evolved, and there's some complexity there, but it was creative, and I had a fun time doing it. I'm having, then the next 2 nights, which would be Monday night and Tuesday night, I revisited the ladder at night and did the same thing, but it was hard to engage with the same interest and joy as it was the first night. Instead of something that I was like, oh yeah, this could be really fun. I'm enjoying this. This is creative. I feel like on some level, this is what my imagination is for. I can do this. This is great. And then the next 2 nights, I did it in the same way and was able to access some of the joy. Same scene. Same scene, but then a little bit more boredom. And how many, so anyway, the two things I wanted to ask you, I wanted to get your feedback on that, I guess.
So when you say the same scene the second night, you mean with the golden staircase, or like the ladder leading into the golden staircase, or like was it just a replay of the same?
Yeah, I was trying to replay the same because I thought that was the objective. Is that the objective? You're replaying it so that you really manifest it, or?
Yeah. So that I just wanted to get clarity before I
It's only like 4 little steps, and it's like the one of those collapsible staircases that go up to like a platform,
a stage or something.
Yeah, a small stage or something, and it's like and they're gold, which I've never seen one that's gold like that, but.
Yeah, me neither. But I mean, that's
well, I guess
fine.
we're gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, yeah. So, what do you think? That was my whole manifestation experience.
Yeah, I think that so the purpose of the ladder, the purpose of the ladder experiment is to prove to yourself that it works, and then once you have that kind of proof, then you can like build your trust in the process, which makes it a million times easier, you know, because then you come up against much less resistance. I mean, it's a process. There'll be like ebb and flow with it.
Yeah.
But so the idea of I think it was really great that you followed your joy and your creativity, especially in that first one. You just let it unfold. I think that's a really good exercise. And I think the reason maybe why it maybe felt a little less joyful the second time is maybe because it felt more like a chore. You were like, okay, well, I have to do this because this is a routine thing, and I'm no longer bringing in creativity. I'm now replaying something that I have to remember the steps of.
Yes.
I'm not letting my mind flow with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it makes sense that you would do that. That would feel that way on the second and third nights. It would lose its magic because it's no longer magic. You have to remember and put in a process. So
right.
I totally get that. So I with that said,
okay,
if you it feels like I mean, I'm definitely a fan of following your joy, especially in terms of your like imagination. But there's a difference and sometimes it's hard for me, and this was something I struggled with really early on, is like using visualization and then versus falling into daydreaming mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And daydreaming it's as good as it feels, it lacks intent, you know? Because there is a time and place for this.
Yeah,
you know
of course.
what I mean? Like creativity, I think in a way you have to surrender a lot, and that's kind of what you did. You like surrender to the process and you follow your joy, and I would recommend people do that you know, more often and spend time, especially before bed, following their joy. I think their days following that will be more full of joy. Your body's gonna seek that out,
right?
You know. With that said, if for the sake of manifesting a specific thing or a specific experience, then you've got to maintain the specificity or whatever,
right?
You know, and
repeat it.
And repeat it. And if you find that you're thinking of something that feels like a chore, then it might just be something you don't truly want, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I would have wanted, if I would have followed creativity and joy the next 2 nights,
yeah,
I might have envisioned different scenes.
Right.
But I think we need some repetition so that the mind really draws it.
Well, the point is...
because how many nights did the ladder people do this?
So the person who like invented the ladder method, his name is Neville Goddard. His thing was 3 nights with earnest effort, and well, right before you go to bed. And the key is to fall asleep while you are envisioning this, which for me is very difficult to do. Like that method, I kind of ditched it altogether because I have my own little fantasy world I like to play in before I go to bed, like I've got, and I can't focus and also fall asleep, and some people can do it. I personally can't. But the thing is as you're falling asleep, your conscious mind is falling away, it's falling asleep. And that's the point, is to get the scene to sink down into your subconscious mind. And as while you're relaxed or like in a meditative state, that's when your conscious mind is most likely going to not be the gatekeeper of what enters your subconscious. And so that's why they do that. And once your subconscious has a certain belief or image that it's deemed to be true, that's when the manifestation comes.
So okay.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. So I've done 3 nights of this.
Yeah.
So now I need another equivalent of the ladder to continue to fuck with, I think.
Well, so did you fall asleep? Did you fall asleep thinking of the ladder?
I would find that impossible to do.
Right. I don't know how people are doing this.
And not only impossible, but boring.
Yeah, because why would I spend that precious daydreaming time on climbing a ladder?
Oh my god. Yeah, so maybe I didn't do it all the way.
Yeah, that's the key, really. And that's how yeah, exactly. And but that's just one method. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I want to take homework every time because we're both interested in manifestation, and there's things I want to manifest right now. Yeah. So it's like I want to take homework every time. If you want to give me a different method or something.
Well, wait, you want to take homework every time?
Yeah, either my homework is, okay, go try the ladder, but try to fall asleep with it, which I would find very difficult, maybe. Yeah. Or try something equivalent to the ladder and do the same thing. Maybe something that you're interested enough in that you would enjoy going into the details of it, or some. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Or there's a different method. Like I just reread Illusions, and the guy mentions manifestation in there, and he's like, try a blue feather.
Yeah, that's a popular one as well. Like finding a blue feather. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like sometimes it's as easy as, and do you remember during our time at Psychic Awakenings doing the mock-up method, right? Or
I don't. If you wanted to remind me, because I remember mock-ups as a thing, but I don't remember how we did them.
Okay, and actually, I don't know if this was the method that we were taught there, but this was the method that I was taught at a previous school in California, which Madeline kind of mirrors for her teachings. But so mocking up is you have an image of what you want, and it could be an image or a scene or whatever, and then you put it into a balloon, and you hold it in a balloon, and then when you're ready, you cut the string and you let it go. Mm-hmm. And then you're done. There's nothing else to do.
You don't repeat it the next day.
You don't
revisit it.
You don't have to unless you want to out of joy. But if you feel like you're going to do something because you have to, or because it won't happen otherwise. I mean, if it feels good and you want to do it, then do it. But if it feels like it's out of desperation or fear-based that you haven't done it enough, then more than likely it's not going to work. The thing is it's such a delicate process. It can be so delicate like that, Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, there are people, like, for that type of thing, it's like, okay, it's hard sometimes to understand if you're doing a method out of desperation or fear that you didn't do enough versus feeling like you just want to do it, and it feels inspired. Sometimes it can be a very fine line and you can't tell. because desperation really does work against you. Because really what you're doing is you're putting more desperation out there regardless of what technique you're using, if you're acting from that.
Right.
And then you're going to get more things that make you desperate, you know?
Yeah, no fun.
But there's this one user on Reddit, and it was like she wanted to manifest this specific person to be like her boyfriend or husband or whatever. And she just went full ham on like mechanical and affirmations. She'd just be like, he loves me endlessly, we're so happy together. And then she said like everything she did. Now this guy at that point they were, when she started, they were like no contact. It was like a bad situation. She just thought there was no hope. But then she went all in on this, and she started repeating these affirmations. And when she would like make her coffee in the morning, she'd imagine that he was there and she was making coffee for him. She'd be driving and pretending he was in the seat. Something would happen and she would see him with another woman or something, and she said she would be like bawling on the floor in like fetal position, but she'd just repeat over and over again, he loves me endlessly. Like she was boring it into her soul, you know, like against everything. And then within, I don't even know what it was, but by the time she wrote the thing, she's like, we're together now. He actually unblocked me, and he reached out to me, and he said he missed me, and he's saying things to me that I affirmed that he would say to me. And like, it was like, and I'm like, you know what, that's another technique that would never work for me. Like for me personally.
Yeah.
But for her, she had that tenacity, you know what I mean? Like it depends on what works for you, you know. And this is why, you know, people get so caught up in the techniques, and sometimes some people don't even need like a real technique, or some people just they have to obsess over the technique, or like it just depends on where you stand. Like there's not going to be any book or teacher who's going to have the answer that applies to everybody, or that says here's something, if you do this no matter what it'll work. That's just not going to happen, because you need to know your insides, you know, and how you best work and what's really going on. And sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking that we're doing something inspired when it's really fear-based, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, that's a really great example. So this woman manifested with affirmations and beat them to death.
Affirmations and
visualizations to go with them.
Visualizations, and just in her everyday life, the minutia of her, like she just had she kept him in the back of her mind as if he was presently with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when she's making her coffee or whatever, she's thinking that he's there. Like, well, if he's here, I would be making this feeling like I'm making coffee for him, you know. And so I don't think she actually made 2 cups of coffee, but like, you know, she's thinking as if she was making...
excitedly.
Yes, like, we're going to have coffee together, you know? When she's going to the store, she's thinking about what he would want, or like, you know, what she's going to bring home to him, you know? Like, her entire... everything she did revolved around it. And then that's how it ended up coming to be. That's how she was able to program her subconscious mind. Her subconscious mind could no longer accept that he was not there, because her conscious mind believed it so much that her subconscious just assumed it. Do you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, on so many levels. I mean, it's got a weird vibe almost, in the sense that it's almost like a love potion or something. But I don't know why I said that, because really, after you've told me this whole thing, all I feel is like admiration that this woman was so believed that she could change her reality so powerfully, and that she was able to override it. I think those are some of the most inspiring stories ever.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder. It just makes me wonder what happens on his end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, first of all, the thing is that I think the key point is that she would not let herself believe another outcome was possible. Like, she believed in that outcome to the degree that it was worth it for her to like give up her life to make sure, you know, like her regular life to make it revolve around him already. She was that invested. But you know, the idea of what he was doing, I mean, I think about that all the time. But another concept that Neville Goddard, who did the ladder experiment, it's called the law of assumption, by the way, is what his teaching is about. Another concept or thing that he teaches is called everyone is you pushed out. So basically, it's like everybody in your life is responding to an aspect of you to a certain degree, and the moment that you can change your beliefs about yourself is when other people's behaviors change to reflect that.
Can you say that one more time so I can really absorb it?
So
the moment what?
The moment you change a belief about yourself is when other people's behaviors will change to reflect that new belief.
Okay.
And currently, everybody's reflecting a certain belief we have about ourselves on some degree. Sometimes a hidden level that we don't see, but there's always a reflection. This is kind of touching on the point of everybody being a mirror that we were talking about maybe last episode or whatever it was. But so along those lines, and I might be getting off. Well,
no. I mean, this is very interesting.
Yeah. So along those lines, the whole point, or the whole way to really truly get the life that you want, in all aspects, is to work on your self-concept and how you view yourself. The world will reflect to you how you view yourself. That's what you're always going to see. It's like, and it's like the greatest school of self-learning here in that regard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you did no manifestation, but you worked on changing your beliefs, your whole world would change anyway.
Yeah, even if you knew nothing about Yes. Yeah, even if you did no techniques. And so some people will say it doesn't, and this works on multiple levels because, you know, I do think you can do the meditation before bed and program your subconscious mind to receive or to experience a certain thing that you want to experience. Now, whether it holds or whether it turns out to be as great as you imagined, I think depends on your self-concept and your ability to receive it at the level that's going to bring you the joy, you know, because if you don't think that maybe you deserve love on that level, it might come to you, but it may not be long lasting, or it'll end up being probably more hellish than you anticipated, or, you know, you'll always see a reflection of what you believe about yourself. So I think it's possible to manifest specific scenarios or experiences in your life by doing whatever manifestation technique that works for you. But I think that ultimately it all comes down to self-concept. If you could ditch everything and only focus on your self-concept, which is the real rub, which is the real
limiting factor.
The real limiting factor, and it's the real work.
Yeah.
Once you can do that, and you can see yourself as whole and lovable as you are without having to change, knowing that you are amazing and great and worthwhile in this world, the world will reflect that to you. And so, you know, it's like even being worthy of having a lot of money type thing. It's like then the world, you know, that's how you open yourself up to receiving it. Because I do believe that, like, this universe, this world, I mean, it's here to serve us. It's like it's almost like all of the gifts are just lining up on the outside of the door, and it's just all like it's almost, it could almost cave in with how much it wants to give us. All we have to do is open the door, you know. You just know that we have the power to open the door, you know. But it's about how you view yourself and your self-worth and what you think is possible for you, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we limit ourselves by thinking that like somebody else's opinion matters, because that's asked backwards, you know. They're showing us an opinion about ourselves, I mean, that we have of ourselves. It's like, I'm worried about my boss thinks that I am a shitty employee. Well, I'm worried about that because that's what I'm thinking about myself, you know. And like that's that type of thing. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't even be worried about it. Wouldn't even cross my mind if I didn't have those beliefs or thoughts.
Yeah, 100%.
So there's multiple ways to go about it, but I think the all-encompassing and the most worthwhile, if you want to go through the work of manifestation, it's the work of self-concept. That's what my ultimate advice would be to anybody.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the work I'm drawn to anyway.
Yeah.
That's the work that feels real.
See, and that's good. That's how you know it would be probably an easier path for you than trying to focus on something while falling asleep, you know.
Yeah, I definitely think I think expression, verbal expression is huge, and then focusing on being aware of what beliefs are driving behaviors, and then trying to tinker with those. Like my brother is a perfect example recently, and I was kind of trying to get him to see, but kind of futile when you depends what, because he can be so smart and in tune, but then other times I think he's just maybe stuck or doesn't understand that that you're getting your beliefs reflected back, because he makes the claim that people are terrible, generally terrible, and that isn't my experience.
Right.
That isn't my experience at all.
Right.
I met somebody that I would consider terribly recently, but that's like one person.
Yeah.
Some stranger helped me climb better today. Somebody taught me yoga today. I'm with you now. My mom sent me with leftovers so that I wouldn't have to buy lunch. I'm not seeing the terrible.
Right.
And then when I think about when I was on LinkedIn on Monday, I spent all Monday on LinkedIn, and I made a post that I'm looking for work. Super vulnerable to do. But the amount, somebody concretely was like, hey, they're hiring at my company. Here's some software development roles. Here's another one I saw. And she's just like a loose acquaintance at Boeing. And is that everybody? No. Was it a large number? No. But a lot of people also reposted that I hadn't talked to in ages. Just compassionate.
Yeah.
This person's out of work. I know what that feels like. Or I care that person's out of work. I'm going to repost their thing.
Right.
And then I talked to somebody who I used to know. And he didn't have room for me. He's hiring like quantum computing people or whatever. But he's been through hell with this. He's a technical recruiter. And he's been unemployed for 2 years. Semi-recently. And I'm like, how did you survive? And he's like, well, I had $75,000 of savings, spent it all. I went into $75,000 worth of debt. I went bankrupt. I lost nearly everyone in my life. Whatever. And then people take advantage of you when they know the situation, so then you have to work extra hard and you get paid shitty. So he's going through all this shit. And we talked for like 15 minutes or whatever. And I'm like totally humbled that you've been through this situation. But he still, you know what he still said to me? He's like, hey, keep your chin up. Like, that somebody like that is going to try to encourage me because they know the emotional battle. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is going on, and my brother is saying people are shitty.
Right.
And I'm going, no, they're not.
Yeah.
And we had conversations when I was there, and he has these beliefs about how males and females act in like courting. And I know this is very specific and traditional, but he's got all this fucking thing. He's like, okay, the women treat men like jobs. If there's a better job, they're going to go to it. And I'm like, and every time I would say, I don't behave like that. He's like, if somebody came along just like Akshay, but was way richer, you would go with him. And I'm like, there would not be an opportunity, because there would not be an opportunity to have an emotional bond, because I'm like monogamously. But every time I would say that, every time I would counter any sort of things like that, he would be like, well, you're the exception. Well, you're the exception. Well, you're the exception. And you drill down, and anyway, you find that he meets these people, and they're really nice to him when they're one-on-one, and then when there gets to be a group situation, they put him down, and he becomes shocked and speechless. They like some sort of, what do you call this, social triangulation or something. They're doing something where they're putting him down or making him look bad or stabbing him in the back in front of other people. And he's like, that's what Amanda did. And I'm like, oh God. So unfortunately, he's had some dense negative experiences that have conditioned him to believe that people are like that. It probably doesn't help that he lives in Florida either, because I associate Florida, this is a belief that I'm carrying that might be wrong, but I associate Florida with like vanity and like superficiality and all. Miami. Yeah, there's a bunch of defense contractors out there too. So these are people working on missiles and shit. And I'm going, well, this is a red state. Anyways, not to generalize, but anyways. So unfortunately, he has these experiences, and then he's going, all people, and yet he's telling me this, and I'm trying to help him and encouraging, but the belief is stronger than the fact that he's talking to me, helping him, always compassionately helping him. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but the irony that I could come up to you, and I used to do this to people all the time. My life's terrible. Nobody cares about me, but I'm telling people that are listening compassionately. So you're only seeing what your beliefs let in. Like, yes. And I tried to help him, but he's like, oh, I don't need help. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's fine. But I try not to. I'm learning that I don't want my happiness to be dependent on what other people are doing or whatever. But anyway, that would be my other manifestation story of the week. It's like so clearly, and I mean, my world is pretty small, and my beliefs might be challenged later. I don't know what'll happen, but right now I don't have the same experience. But he's manifesting, people are terrible, they're gonna fuck you over. People are terrible, they're gonna fuck you over. People are selfish, people are selfish, people are selfish. He's doing this to himself. Yes, he's getting exactly what he expects out of the world. Yeah, exactly. So we talk about sometimes spirituality and manifestation, but I can't quite get him to change. We'll see. I shouldn't be trying to help. Things. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Sometimes, I mean, it's difficult to like try to talk. Like, I feel like something like that has to come from within, a desire to do that or to like believe in it or whatever. Like there's it would be difficult to tell somebody about the act of manifestation who doesn't already like kind of have that type of thread within them, and then try to convince them it works or something. Like, I feel like you probably already have a belief that it's bullshit or something. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the kind of beliefs that end up, if you try to figure out why people get unhappy or stuck, in my limited tiny experience, I feel like it's a stack of the wrong beliefs. Yeah, everything is, exactly. So examining those and reprogramming those when you find them is, that's the thing about manifestation is I'm pretty lucky where I'm at because I don't strongly want something, but I do want to have, I do like this belief work, or I do like being more embodied or connected or more aware or whatever. So
Yeah.
maybe this is the place to look. Anyway, beliefs are interesting to me.
Yeah, beliefs. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is there's beliefs about what the world is and what you're going to get from the world and whatever, but underneath it all, it ties back to beliefs about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So so if you want to get to the root of everything, it would be not necessarily, oh, I believe, like changing your belief about the job market is one thing, and it's a way to go about it, but to get to the root, you would say, I'm worthy of a job and somebody to be excited to hire me as I am without having to do anything else. As I am right now, I am worthy of the best job that I can conceive of myself, just because I deserve it, and there's no reason why I wouldn't deserve it, and there's no reason why I shouldn't have it. You know? So it's like there's multiple layers to it. I think a lot of people don't realize that either. I think sometimes it gets a little oversimplified. But and there's multiple ways to go about it too. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. So okay. So if my brother holds this belief about other people, then what does he believe about himself?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking as you were telling that. I'm thinking there must have been, and it's probably something that got introduced when he was young and then reinforced as he grew up. You know, and it could be something that's not obvious, but something that he may have determined about himself and his place in the world, somewhere along the line, that he's just carrying along with him. You know, maybe he feels like, I mean, I don't know, but something must have happened to where he felt maybe piled up on, and then maybe he felt like that's just what he should expect. Like he doesn't, you know, there's always our experiences in our lives, no matter what it is, we take that to help define how we view ourselves, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. And we can think of it in terms of, oh, somebody's doing this to me, but there's always going to be a bit that seeps into our mind about who we are, you know, and maybe changes it even just a little bit, but it kind of adds up over time.
Yeah.
And we end up carrying a whole ass belief and bringing it to every scenario in life, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I don't think it's necessary to have to identify where it all started or even what the belief is, you know, that you have to undo about yourself. It's like, well, what do I want to be? I want to be loved, and I want to be successful, and I want to feel like I belong here. So I'm going to work on feeling that way, regardless of what my previous beliefs are, which, you know, and I can work on, we can all work on trying to change how we view ourselves without even considering our past. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in what we've been through that well, I think for some people it's probably helpful to kind of like, I mean, therapy is good for like trauma and stuff like that. You know, I guess I'm overgeneralizing here, but I think that type of work of redefining yourself can happen at any moment, and I don't think it requires a lot of digging up of the past, you know. Some people might need that, though, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's be even, okay. Let's say I didn't necessarily know what circumstances, because here's a belief that I have. If I have a job, I will find it. If I have a full-time job, re-entering society like that, that that I won't enjoy it, that I will have no time, that I will be stressed out, that I will completely lose myself. So, this is the truth. This is the truth. And so, of course, there would be some conflicted things about finding a job. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because so this might be also why it's hard to know what you can lose what you want, because what you want, what you think you're going to get, comes with a bunch of assumptions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And beliefs. So I guess thank you for talking with me about this, because I didn't realize it until I told you, I guess, that I think I need to unhook the beliefs that a job is going to deplete me, because maybe I can be energized by good conversations and problem solving, and maybe it can be balanced in my life. So, but what I was also going to talk to you about that you might find interesting is that the closing technique of Vipassana is called Metta Bhavana, like loving kindness. And you're taught to, like, you are spending a lot of time in your body. So generally, I mean, I think something's different about me somehow, because I don't have as easy of a time as I believe others do. But that's okay. That maybe makes meditation even more worthwhile for me, because I think it's fixing my brain chemistry. But anyways, like, you can get in touch with your subtle body. So that would be your energy body or your subtle body. Mm-hmm. And you're taught to, and you're meditating on that, and that's like part of the meditation. But like, you're taught to basically infuse in Metta Bhavana. You basically infuse it with some word that you want, and you generate it, kind of. So, and it's kind of from your heart. So, may I generate love, may I generate compassion, or whatever. That's one way. Or may all beings feel this, share in my peace, share in my this. But I have taken that because it feels so good, and I use it for metta, but I also use it to generate a feeling that I want to generate. The other day when I was coming to see you, I think I told you I was in traffic, but I generated relief the whole time. Like, I was just practicing relief. Of course, my conscious mind was a little bit fighting me with impatience or whatever, but I was generating relief. Relief. So, I guess my question for you is, when you talk about being successful and loved, these are, I guess, circumstances, but are we decomposed? When we decompose circumstances, are they just a set of feelings? And if you practice generating feelings themselves, is that also magnetizing? Is that also manifestation in a, like, much more bare bones way?
Yeah, I mean, there's your feelings. Ultimately, these words that we're telling us, they're there to generate the feelings that we have, mm-hmm. and our feelings are what informs our beliefs. Mm-hmm. So that's your feelings are like a guidance system of what you are pointed towards or where you're headed towards. You know, mm-hmm. So it's like if you could skip trying to define a specific thing and get to the feeling that you want, I mean, by all means do that. That's the feeling is the secret. Neville Goddard wrote a book titled that, and it's like, his whole thing is live in the end of what you want to be. Like, assume that what you want is here now. How would you feel and how would you act? So the feeling is really what generates your experience, truly, because if you're able to hold on to those feelings for a good portion of your day, or, you know, I like to think it's like just 51% of the time, or like just a little over half, you know, like to be the majority of your experience, then that's what you're going to get more of. You know, you're going to end up being self-generating of those feelings.
This is really helpful, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because that's the second time you've made me aware that we need to be concentrating all fucking day long on these things. First was when you were talking about the lady who manifested her boyfriend coming back. And that's the second one. Where you're saying, not just in a big moment when I'm meditating, am I generating a big feeling? It might be good.
Yeah.
But you're saying predominantly getting good at generating those feelings most of the day. And it's not just you either. You make me think of the gratitude exercises that we used to do from that book. Sarah Lovett always said that the goal of those is to be feeling gratitude over to 51%. Yes. And then that's when the shit is supposed to change for you. So I guess what the epiphany that I'm having right now talking to you is, shit, this takes concentration. This isn't just like fucking 20 minutes in bed. This is like an investment of you should dedicate your life to.
Absolutely, yes, that's exactly right. And that is the I don't know the word, like the pit that people tend to fall into, is that they think that they can do 20 minutes at night with a technique. And something like, I will say, like, the latter technique does work because you're directly reaching your subconscious mind by, whatever. But you're also reaching your subconscious mind all the time. It's always active, but we usually just have it's fed by our conscious mind. So so during the day, whatever we're feeding it with our feelings and our thoughts feed our feelings, and our feelings feed our beliefs, and our beliefs feed our experience. Ooh. So it all starts with what we're telling ourselves, but most importantly, how we're letting ourselves feel. So we want to, get in a state of gratitude. And the reason is like I say, the world reflects back. It gives you back what you put out. If you are feeling gratitude the majority of the time, or even like incrementally increasing your gratitude every day, you're going to get more stuff that's going to make you grateful. And so, I mean, if you just want to practice gratitude, I mean, that's why that's so life-changing. And it's kind of a blanket. It's like it's a cover-all for everything. Like, because you could just feel gratitude for being alive, and you're just, it opens you up to receiving more stuff to be grateful for. It's like, but a lot of it is not necessarily trying to generate feelings of good, right? Like, there's that, and if that works for you, that's fine. But a lot of it is a surrender of the bad feelings. Yeah. It's a letting go. It's an undoing. This is a process of undoing more than it is of trying to be different.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because the things that we are feeling stressed and having resistance for are due to programmed beliefs that we've picked up on, and ultimately we want to let those go. It's about letting go of false shit that really doesn't serve us, more than it is about forcing ourselves to feel good all the time. Because once we're able to release those beliefs that resistance, then the feel good is already there. The peace is there. The gratitude is there. It lives within us already. We're just covering it because we've got our mind focused on shit that ultimately really doesn't matter.
Yeah, non-resistance to the bad feelings and the good is there automatically is a beautiful way of saying that. Yeah. Because those things get stuck in us only when we resist them. Right. Otherwise, they'll just flow the fuck through.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people are like, well, okay, I have to learn to be grateful. And so they try to force themselves, or I have to learn to feel good. And so they try to force it. And it's like, really what you're doing, that's a form of resistance to what's going on. So a lot of the process, a lot of creating the life you want is about being who you truly are, because what you want is who you truly are, and you want the world to reflect that to you. And the way to do that is through surrender of just being without attaching to stuff that doesn't serve us, So I don't know. I think it's like there's like in a way it's so simple. Like it's this the concept is simple, but like there's so much nuance when putting it into practice. And it's like and I think that's why even though there's this whole movement or like it's so kind of mainstream now, this whole idea of manifesting and a lot of people have really good success, you know, with certain things, but there's a lot of people that struggle with it because they get hyper focused on this one thing that they feel they need to do in order to make something happen. When a lot of the times it's like it all comes down to just knowing that what you want is here. You just have to like let go to see it and bring it in, you know. And it takes a lot of trust in the process that is like a muscle to build. You know, you gotta kind of start small. For some people, so you know, just depends on who you are. But it's different for everybody, and it's very nuanced. So
yeah,
or it can be, I guess.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's complex.
Yeah,
I think all the different layers are and the voices and the feelings and the thoughts, and I think we're pretty in some fucking areas we're forcing ourselves, in some areas we aren't trying, which is also driven by this or that fear that we can't recognize anymore because we've disguised it in some way. I think it's complex as hell to know yourself. Well,
it is because it's very human to be complex. It's like it's part of our nature. Like all of that, like to take into consideration of everything is like kind of impossible. Like we are naturally very complex. It's just the concept of how it works is relatively simple, but you can't really like treat it as simple. You have to, you know, to embody it is to make it complex, you know. So it's interesting.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. But I feel that people oversimplify.
They do oversimplify, and I see it all the time. Like on TikTok, they'll be like, "You guys, all you got to do is this. You guys are missing out on this technique." Just mechanical affirmations, and it's like, okay, that may have worked for you. But like it's like it's ignoring the like beautiful like network of what we are, like, you know, the little webbing that we have within ourselves that each one of us has to navigate. It's different, wildly different for all of us.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like for each of us to discover about ourselves, and you can't read that in a book. It's like it's just a process. It's just you gotta learn yourself, you know.
Yeah. So boy, that is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is it.
It is. That's the, I think, yeah.
I love that. I love that process of getting to know. As much as I get stuck and run away from it sometimes, or avoid it, or sometimes hate it, like I feel like that's for me, that's so life defining when I'm able to express something in a new way or understand something in a new way. Like, do you enjoy that process, or do you also? I mean, is it a mixed bag?
No, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. I totally do. To me, it's exciting. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like what life is all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a belief that a career has to pull you away from that.
Yeah.
Because I guess we were talking earlier about like all the different ways that I feel like I'm doing like a lot of internal work, and I feel a fear that if I find a job, it will take me out of that. But there's got to be a way to work and stay connected, and there's got to be a way to be embodied. Work from like an embodied place.
Yeah, but that's what a great exercise to be able to, if it's something that you ultimately want to do or end up doing, if you get like a corporate job or whatever, a desk job or whatever you end up going for, I mean, to be able to integrate that and just like bring that into the fold of your whole process of learning yourself. I mean, because right now we can clearly defined that type of job as just soul sucking and meaningless and whatever. And yeah, I get that. At the same time, there's so much to learn about yourself in that scenario, and why not make it a spiritual endeavor?
Dude,
it's just another mirror, or another way of learning, of experiencing yourself in a different scenario.
Yeah.
And you can, and in that regard, there's no difference between a corporate job and Vipassana. You can take all those tools that you sit with in your retreats and then have a new fun little sandbox to play with them in in a whole different environment. And if you could reframe it to that, then you would probably be more likely to be open to receiving it and get, you know what I mean? And then it would open up more doors. So it's our perception and our beliefs define everything.
Dude, I am in love with what you've just said, because that's exactly, I just want to be meditating my whole life.
Yeah.
I want to be meditating in the sense that I'm aware of what's coming and what's going and what's driving the actions. And I want to see.
Yes.
I want to see everything for what it is and name it and move and change. And I want to directly help people and interact with people and feel purposeful. And there's no reason why. There's no reason. So I love what you said. And then I love that we're talking about this, because I'm finding these assumptions that work has to be this soul-sucking thing. I think I had this modeled by my dad, and I think it got ingrained.
Yeah.
Because he just I emulate this so much, where it's just he was just so resistant to it and hated it and just was on his phone all the time, and but he just got himself to retirement, and then lo and behold, it wasn't, I think it's been a struggle in retirement, because it's not the solution to all your problems and stuff like that, right?
Right.
I think he's doing okay now, but it seemed like always there was this fear of trying something different because of the security of it, but then such oh man, work again, and oh, it's soul sucking, and I think unfortunately I watch myself behave the same. You should have seen me at the end of my way of working was to resist work. I'd be logged on and then immediately playing a game, and then I'd have to do something, but I'd kind of do it, but I'd get so anxious because I was resisting it. But then I'd find that when I really applied myself or really worked, how rewarding that was. So there's just some work that we're doing right now on me. Thank you. We're healing my assumptions that I have to hate what I'm doing for work.
Right.
Or that there's work and then there's development, and I'm so freedom. And that there's oh, look, I've got this climbing thing going for me now, and I'm getting in shape, and I'm getting stronger, and I'm going to lose that if I get there's these beliefs tangling this whole thing.
Yeah.
So this is a complicated manifestation. I have to undo all of this.
Yeah.
I can have a job that pays absurdly well.
Yeah.
That is really easy to integrate in my life and is really flexible.
Yeah.
Right, I can have all these things.
Yes.
I've just decided somewhere that I didn't, and we're unpacking it, so.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But see, that's the thing. It's it's not even just with your dad. We see it in the media. It's repeated everywhere that somehow working is a soul-sucking thing, which, you know what, I get it. It kind of, I don't want to say, oh, it is, even because we're talking about, but, I get it. It feels like the antithesis of what we're trying to do.
Yes.
But, it just doesn't have to be that way. You
yes.
know? But we are programmed for thinking that way, in media, everywhere, so I could see it's not absurd that you have those beliefs. Those are very understandable and common.
Yeah, I love that. I think one thing that makes work seem bad is thinking that you have to do it from 8 to 5, for example. For just an
Yeah.
example. And then if you have nothing, I find those to be miserable moments.
Oh, right.
If you have nothing to do, but you're still being forced to sit there.
Yeah.
I find that to be the most miserable, pointless.
Yes. It's like,
Existence
I feel like
weird.
I'm being controlled, held
Yes.
against my will.
Yes!
It's like, but if I'm not doing anything, why am I here and I have to sit right here?
Yes. That is prison.
Yeah, it is.
That is prison.
No.
Even if it would be less miserable if you were even working on stuff. Then
Right.
it would maybe be
Yes.
fulfilling.
Yes, because it's like I'm earning I'm like doing something. I'm actually producing something. My time is not being restricted. Really, I'm doing what I can do. Yeah, I know.
And then I don't know about you, but then if I then take that time and do something about me, shame comes up.
Yeah.
About not being employee of the month or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
I used to get so down on myself about those things as though other people didn't do those things. But I just made the assumption that everyone's behaving in this good girl way that I was and then shaming myself or whatever. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
people can get all twisted if they spend too much time in their own world, but I'm sure people don't work the full 8 hours.
Yeah, I think it's actually relative. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot more people. I read all the time. There's like, I see posts and somebody's like, "Am I the only person who's not doing anything at work?" And people will be like, "Yeah, it can be torture." And it's like, yeah, you get it. Like, there's just like, but it's like this taboo thing, in a way.
Yeah, because there's also that cult that you were talking
Yeah.
about. So we're
Climb the ladder.
yeah.
Sure, yeah. Employee of the month. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, yeah. Absolutely. This is very validating to talk about and very much expressing things that were unexpressed. So it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Definitely, I think one of the barriers right now is I keep hearing that the company that I applied for, they want on-site 5 days a week. And I think that part is daunting to me in terms of work-life balance and then what we were just talking about. Because what a difference it makes to not have to commute every day, or you can make your lunch at home, or you can, if you're not busy in the afternoon or whatever, you can invest in your own thing or what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like balance. Then there's this tyrant in my head that thinks there's how things should be, and then there's reality, and I just need to get it to back off. I don't know if you have the same experience about shoulds and whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Trying not to get in trouble was instilled in me somehow accidentally so badly, so I'm always afraid of doing stuff and getting in trouble in some way. Yeah. Or displeasing people. Not great to run through so that has made me imbalanced. So if I can let go of that, then maybe I can be more flexible with work, and it can be anyway.
Yeah, a lot of it is just because I struggle with that, and I think I've really gotten to a point where I feel stressed out about something, or if I'm gonna get in feel like, not necessarily at work, but just in general, I feel like I'm gonna disappoint somebody. It's I've really had to train my mind to be no, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, and then I just distract myself and think about something else, and it almost always works. It ends up being fine. It ends up being better than fine. I can't always do that, but when I can, it always works. So it's but again, it's taken me years to get myself to be able to do that, even on the limited times that I'm able to do that now, because it's really hard to let go of worries like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's just all about building up a sense of trust in your ability to create your world. We are the masters of our world, and yeah, it's I don't know, it's just interesting. It's kind of magical to think about how much I can see the times that I have disappointed somebody is, I could see it directly proportionate to my worries about it, you know? And then the times that things turned out surprisingly well were always the times when I was able to let it go and just decide it's going to be good, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like scientific.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like sometimes this happens, whatever. It's like, I can tell, I've got like the data that I've been storing in my mind, and it feels like it's such a scientific process. This is a universe ruled by laws.
Yeah.
And it's like it has never failed in that regard. But
wow.
I also try to be very honest with myself about what I'm truly feeling, and I really put it under a microscope. So it's like sometimes it's hard to know when you're really worried about something because it's on autopilot, you know, or it's something you're not. It's just like in the background of your mind, you know.
Yeah.
So like those are the things to try to keep an eye on or whatever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you have a running understanding of almost faith in what you put out. You have so much evidence. Because I feel like I've just been a little more chaotic in my... I'm getting more grounded now, so my experiments haven't been as... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's so badass that you've been paying enough attention for long enough and watched yourself go, when I worried, shit went to shit.
Yeah.
When I didn't worry, shit didn't go to shit.
Yeah.
That's... To have that experience, that seems really good. You're learning how you work in tandem with the universe on some level.
Right. It's about, yeah, exactly.
So then you can continue to use that to your advantage. That's why I'm starting so slow, so maybe low on manifestation, because I think it's been a little more chaotic or unconscious in this area. I think that's where we want to get to. Where we have a series of small, repeatable experiments. And you've done it maybe by accident almost, or you just watched it happen. We just need repeated experiences to see, I get it.
Yeah.
Here's what I can do differently.
Right. Well, the thing is, I've been like actively studying this for like over 20 years. Like I've been like mildly obsessed with this most of my life, you know? And it's like that's the thing that I've realized the most about it is so simple, and but it's not easy.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's not easy because our minds trick us, and you have to really try to see yourself almost objectively, like your thoughts, which is difficult. It's like, okay, well, what was I doing? Like I've tried to be like a little scientist about it, you know, like I'm trying to just have a hypothesis, test it out, and then record my results, and then, you know, adjust accordingly. And the thing is I have found myself the times that really have set me up to really learn this is like when I have been under an immense amount of stress, and I had to just trust to the point where I had to just let my stress go and watch how things worked out. And I did that enough times over the past 20 years to know, okay, well, stress is never gonna fucking work in my favor. It's just not. And feeling badly or negatively about something or anticipating something through worry or anxiety is never, it doesn't work out. I always prove, no matter what it is that I am expecting, I always prove myself right. You know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of like what I've learned. But at the end of the day, I'm still human, and I still have my worries, and I have whatever. I just try to catch it before I go into a spiral, you know, and then, yeah.
My experience, I'm realizing maybe I haven't watched with the same eye as you. But my experience has been worrying and it working out, but me still not learning from that enough to not worry the next time. Worrying, it working out, but me not learning well enough such that I don't worry next time. Worrying and it working out. So I'm lucky in that way that I haven't manifested because my brain is a worry machine.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily I don't think it's that way anymore because as we've talked about, I'm painstakingly unwinding the patterns.
Right.
But worrying and it worked out. Like, oh, and in this moment, I'm thinking about work specifically, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because I used to worry that people weren't gonna like me or like my work or get fired all the time, and it never happened.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that our mechanics may be different.
Yeah.
So this is like knowing yourself in relationship to the universe or how you work energetically. Because luckily, I don't know what destruction I would be in if all my worries came true. Not even the contents of the worries, but the amount that I've been stressed my little system out over, or medically. You and I have talked about medical anxiety, for example.
Yeah.
If all the different things or the magnitudes of the worries that I've had about my health had manifested, what kind of mess would I be in? I don't know.
Right.
Even when I was a kid, I used to get so worried that I was going to get AIDS. Like, I wasn't even sexually active. But, like, I'm so happy that, like, I don't get what I...
It's like worrying about, like, quicksand or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You just hear about how dangerous it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what's different if it's the ways, our quality of our thoughts or the emotion behind them. Like yours might have just been very anticipatory and mine have been just very fear. Like I'm rolling in fear with just for sport. I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who knows why that difference might be there, and that might just be a belief that I have. But that's why I feel if I could be so connected like you in the sense that I knew there was this correlation between this thoughts and this, then I would love that feedback, and maybe I can be paying attention from here and find it. But I think that's a long way of saying, luckily, I've worried a lot, and it hasn't manifested.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and same here, I've worried a lot, and it hasn't manifested, but it's also... I don't think it's also necessarily like a direct one-to-one correlation. Like I'm worried about I'm worried about breaking my arm, but I didn't break my arm. But like maybe something else happened that may have been like equivalent to breaking your arm somewhere down the line that it may have manifested differently. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But like when I say like I've had situations where I was worried and then I had to drop my worry, it was more like I had at work I had something due to my boss. I had to meet with her and show her this documentation that whatever, and I didn't even understand the assignment, and I did not know. I didn't know. I had nothing to show her, and I was stressed so much all night. I was fucking worried, and then, but I was like, no, but but like if my thoughts and my beliefs, whatever. So I just said, you know what, it's gonna be fine. This is gonna be just fine. I'm just not gonna worry about this. And my meeting with her was like first thing in the morning. So I go in, and then she had to call out because her daughter she had to take her daughter to daycare, whatever. And then while I'm working, I'm like, oh, thank fucking God. And then like, I still don't understand what she had asked of me, but like as I'm working, suddenly it dawns on me exactly what she wanted. It just clicked. And then so I'm like, okay. And then I produced it. I just made it. And then I met with her the next day, and she was happy with what I had. Or like there was one time I didn't want to be late for work, and there was traffic, and it was like there was an accident, and I was sitting for like 20 minutes, and I was gonna be, but I was like, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not even gonna look at the clock. I'm just gonna try this out and see, even though I'm, I could be late or not, but I'm just not gonna worry about it. But I got there, so at the time we had the clocking system. When you logged in, you had 6 minutes after the hour, and it would record you as at the beginning of the hour. And I got there right at the 6 minute mark. And so it was like, but I was sitting there, I should have been 20 minutes late. You know what I mean? But like, that's the kind of stuff that like has happened at a repeatable process, and then the times when I stayed in stress or like worried and fearful and showing up like, oh God, I've already condemned myself for whatever it was, then it was like, okay, well now it's here, and I'm feeling the embarrassment of it because it's shown up, and whereas whenever I've just let it go, it's always resolved itself, so, and it's happened enough that I know in my mind it's not coincidence. So, do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
When I feel like there's an immediate, like I'm in a pickle or whatever, and I gotta get out of it, I just kind of like, I gotta release my fucking stress, and I just say, it's gonna be fine, and it's golden.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And I don't know if that's really different than what you're saying, but I know exactly what you're saying about having constant worry and it not manifesting. Or,
right,
so
like, people are going to be so mad at me, then they're not.
Yeah.
But maybe these things are still going somewhere and manifesting other things, or maybe not.
Maybe it's just manifesting in a sense that you're living that reality via your worries, your constant worries every time. It's, the next time
worry begets more worry. I reinforce
you relive
the pattern
it in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we pause it so I can use the restroom? Thanks. Thank you. Detour. Break.
Pee break.
Pee break. So we were unpacking what might be different about my worry manifestations. Or maybe this is a human thing. Maybe there's sometimes when you manifest the circumstance that you're worried about, or maybe somebody's not as instant with their things, or there's not always a correlation between inner and outer immediately, right? But you were saying, like, maybe if I'm just getting in the habit of worrying, maybe I'm creating more worry the next time.
Well,
I'm developing a habit pattern of worrying, which I then have to live in.
Well, I don't know, because I think when we talk about manifestation, I'm talking about how like our thoughts and feelings, our beliefs create the physical world and our physical real life experiences.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know how much weight that holds to say that, oh well, maybe you're just you're manifesting it via more worrying, which maybe. But the thing so when you say, oh, maybe it's different for you and different for me, or like maybe it manifests a slower rate or whatever. The thing that I've come to the conclusion on is that, like I was saying just not that long ago, is that it's like a scientific universe, and it follows laws that I don't think favors anybody over another. So I don't have the answer to your question, but I personally, just based on like all the literature I've read and my own experience and reading the experience of other people and those who are genuinely successful with manifestation, hearing them talk about their experience and how it matches mine, it seems to me that it's not different from person to person, but there's like in terms of universal laws, it's not different from person to person, but that there must be maybe a certain type of belief system that's keeping you from. Well, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We can both describe our experiences as best as we can, but in the end, you'll never know exactly. We've talked somewhat about this. You'll never know exactly. Maybe my thoughts have a different quality or strength to them than yours.
Right.
Maybe yours are maybe there's something underneath there. Maybe there's so much, and like there's even different elements of the universe. Maybe water. Maybe I'm having like, because I feel so watery sometimes in my energy, and maybe water behaves differently. Let's say you have earth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
are you talking about astrology?
I'm talking about
what if
even the contents, since we're made up of just atoms and molecules, we have different elements in us, like air and water and earth and whatever. And we have different compositions and different bodies, and that's why people look different physically, skin, everything. We have different, like, elements within our body. So let's say even just we can describe the same experience. We're both worried and stressed, and then you have a result and I don't have a result in that situation that I remember, okay? It could be also remembering, because there might have happened just like, would I have noted the same way you? Maybe not. So maybe they do behave. But let's say they behave differently. We could just be having different physiological things going on.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's exactly true. And maybe that's kind of maybe the point I wanted to make without realizing it, was that the difference lies within us and not in the universal laws.
Yeah.
The universal laws are mathematical.
Right.
Like they do not vary according to person, but each person varies.
Right.
So they're interacting with the laws differently, and so therefore the results are going to change, or not change. But yeah, the results are going to be different based on whatever the fuck is going on. And I will never know your innermost processes. I hardly even know my own, really. I mean, I'm just trying to.
Yes.
So,
what if the belief behind your stressing was, this event is not going to work out? Oh, I'm going to change it, and this event is going to work out. But what if underneath my worry is, I'm such an incompetent piece of shit. I'm such an incompetent, something horrible about myself or something. What if yours was so much more about the event and the day itself, and mine was so much like about belief? Then I've just I've not necessarily influenced an outcome, but I've fed a belief system about myself that then manifests in other ways. So I just thought of another way they could be totally different. It's like, what if yours was, let's say, more about the event itself or the day itself, and mine was just like, I have to worry because I'm not safe. I have to worry because if this doesn't go right, I won't be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so there could be completely different mechanics under each of our same surface situation.
Yes.
Super cool.
Absolutely. Yes.
So we're getting the feedback. It just looks way different.
Right.
And then even just like we said, even like just like we had mentioned, like, maybe I just haven't been taking note. Maybe I got distracted and didn't notice that it did or it didn't work out or something.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm believing, maybe shame is behind it, and I'm believing that I'm a piece of crap, and nothing happens on the surface, but then other people are reflecting to me that I'm a piece of crap. So there's maybe there's some mirroring going on.
Yeah. If you if you are repeatedly having worries of the same nature, there must be somewhere along the line where you feel like your worries have been confirmed. Otherwise, your worries would naturally, you would learn by conditioning that there's nothing to worry in that regard. As far as, you know?
Yeah.
So, I would venture to say that something is happening somewhere, maybe not even in the specific situation like at work that you were worried about, but maybe in another area of your life that confirmed those worries.
Yes.
You know, and so...
keeping the wiring alive because it thinks it needs to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just reliving that's an absolutely. And you're reminding me of that podcast I was listening to about gambling.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll sum it up for the sake of the conversation. They observed the brains of several non-compulsive gamblers and several compulsive gamblers, and they found one key difference. On wins and losses, compulsive gamblers and non-compulsive gamblers' brains are behaving the same. One of the problems comes on things called near misses. That's like 7, 7, almost 7. Cherry, cherry, almost cherry. On slot machines for this example. They found out that at least some of the wiring for wins is firing on compulsive gamblers' brains for near misses. So, that contributes to the addiction. And non-compulsive gamblers are reading near misses as losses, which is what they are, which is what they absolutely are and need to be read as. The reason I got so excited and conveyed it to you almost shouting that day, and it's coming up now, is like, I feel like this is what happens in the brain even for bad shit. I feel like this happens for worry all the time. Let's say we're worrying, and then one of the worries does get confirmed. Horrible. Because 99%, let's say 99% worries don't get confirmed and one does. Or one almost does. Or you intuited something wrong. Like one time I thought I had a kidney problem. I went in and it turned out I had like a kidney infection or something like that and took some antibiotics. I hate it when stuff like that happens. Because that teaches some part of my fucking brain that if I'm not vigilant, like, bad shit is going to happen. Like, oh, I was right. I hate that feeling. Mm-hmm. Like, intuition can be really empowering when it's a neutral or good thing. But, like, worrying plus intuition I've found to be such a horrible thing. Like, I got a bad feeling about that being right. So that was a long way of responding to you that, like, accidentally probably there's just some circuitry there. And like I said, luckily this has been getting better. I'm thinking back to my younger years driving into work being stressed. So luckily my beliefs have all softened and the feelings have all softened here. But like somehow I believe you're right that wiring is so sticky that all it takes is a win once in a while.
Yeah.
And even the ones that are parallel, right? Even the ones that, like, did catch something or it was a good thing that I did worry about that or else, yeah, it's easy to reinforce these things.
Yeah, it's kind of like confirmation bias or whatever. I don't know if you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. And it's making me think of, like... I don't know, it's making me think of like toxic patterns with guys that I've had in the past or that may or may not be perpetuating into now. Like, the toxicity was somehow addictive in a way that I can't quite explain, that this near miss thing seems to resonate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I'm getting toxicity, it doesn't feel good, but it also activates the near miss circuitry somehow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying. This is a long riff on what you were saying about like somehow worries are getting reinforced, because this is such a hard thing about being human, because I think these things do get reinforced is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think because I think it's probably a way of our brains of trying to protect us somehow. It wants to anticipate the bad, and
yes.
So even you can worry and worry, and then if it doesn't happen, it may still try to find validation in its worry in other areas or something.
Yeah.
Therefore, reinforcing it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I do instead of boredom. Like, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But this is like a default. Like, oh, we need to worry to protect ourselves. That's like our downtime. That's how we use. And then I wonder why I don't get enough sleep or whatever, or feel rested ever. But yeah, it's like I think that's exactly right. Unfortunately, it's just something that got into overdrive thinking that it needs to. Can't really enjoy the happy because it needs to anticipate the next thing. Just like a default thing. So these things, anyway.
Yeah.
I think some people's neurochemistry goes crazy.
Right.
I think this is just why people end up in the work or whatever. And some people might have stickier brains than others, because I think some people might be able to go Do you notice that? That's also an interesting part of manifestation, is that some people have an easier time making declarations that can actually change their behavior. You don't need to worry about that one anymore. Oh, okay. Like, I think some people can actually do that. They can actually change their brains easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Some people can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Some people also just don't worry too, which is
right.
It's weird. But like, yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah.
Like certain people, whether it's worry or another example,
right.
like certain people, I think, can program themselves easier.
Yeah.
But I think maybe when we're in a maybe worried state, it's hard to be like, stop worrying, because that's a worried vibration. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with like how we were raised in our childhood environment and how we learned to think about the world and what the or you know how to be. Yeah, I think a lot of it just has to do with like early childhood programming or something.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, neurochemistry. Yeah, just genetic. I think probably a bunch of stuff.
So it's so fascinating, right? Tying it back to manifestation, like we were talking about, like, imagine that you're trying to manifest stuff, but you have all this also going on. Like, it fights you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Getting all your parts to agree is like some massive awareness and massive healing, I think.
Yeah, getting your parts to agree. Yes, exactly. Or just like learning how to like let go or like accept what is.
Yeah, that's nice. That's exactly right.
It's like training yourself to believe in the good as a default.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know? Whereas because in a way, if when we constantly worry or are trying to anticipate something unfavorable happening, that's us believing in the bad.
Yeah.
We believe in the bad more than the good.
Yes.
We define everything by the bad.
Yes, absolutely. This is one of the nuances of fear versus love or whatever.
Yeah.
We've actually bought into it.
Yes.
And it's winning.
And it's winning, yeah, and it's defining our entire lives, like in a way, like if we're naturally geared to worry like that all the time, then yeah, we believe in the bad more than the good. And I think the people that don't worry, I think they're just natural optimists.
Yeah, and that's a good way to be.
It is.
It's a good way to be. What an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might be developing more toward that, because as we talk about these things, I feel like they've gotten less heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if how you feel, and I don't know if you even use the word worry, or do you worry?
I mean, I do worry sometimes. Yeah, I do. I get in my little ruts. I do. I don't know if it's the state of. I don't know if it's the majority. If it takes up the majority of my time. But
That's good.
I do have my moments, but for the most part, my mind is trying to analyze stuff, really. And
intellectually. Like what? Like social interactions that you've had, or?
Yeah, if I have a social interaction, I usually will analyze that, and then, or anything. I'm always just trying to understand why things work the way they do, and what control do I truly have? Like, I think everything just always kind of goes under that microscope of like, oh, um, how much of this is reflecting back to me who I am, or like, what can I, what's going on? Like, it's like, I think I probably overdo it sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It might be a coping mechanism for trying to figure out this world and feeling kind of tortured by it. Like, well, maybe I can just treat it as like I'm just, going through a homework assignment or something. And I've got to figure it out,
That's really relatable.
Yeah.
It gets you. Do you think you're... in my case, this is the answer, so it might not be for you, and I do the same, but do you think you're thinking your way out of feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I do that all the time.
So if you're analyzing your social interactions, what do you think you're feeling after them? Do you think you're feeling awkward? Or do you think you're feeling worried that you did something wrong if it didn't go how you would have expected? Or do you think
I
feel exposed or vulnerable or self-conscious or...
Yeah, I think for the most part, and I think it's kind of subconscious to where I don't realize I do it all the time, but I'm always measuring my social behavior up against whoever I was interacting with, and like, did I match them well enough, or like, was I... But like, I don't stress over this. Like I said, like, I think this is just how I view myself. Like, well, was I...
You want to be like the perfect mirror for people?
Well, I think I just want to feel like an inside, like I belong, like that I'm not on the outside. So like, was I good? Like, did I do good enough fitting in?
Did I fit in?
Yeah, like sometimes I do. I feel kind of like, and this feels kind of like a self... I don't know what kind of a statement this sounds like, but truly, regardless of what it sounds like, I just feel like sometimes I'm an alien that's here, and I'm having to play the part of being part of humanity, and I'm part of this crowd for sure, no matter what, definitely. You know what I mean? Like so. But like I said, it's not like I'm up at night thinking about this. I think like since a child, I've always kind of felt that way. And like, it's how I've shaped myself, especially like socially, since that's what we're talking about, I'm like, well, did I do what was expected of me as a person that's living on this earth? And like, even at work, I second guess myself all the time. I'm like, well, what are they expecting of me? Like, sometimes I'll have an idea to do something and it's like, well, that might be a little out. Like, I don't know. But I think I don't know. I stifle myself a lot, I think. Because, so. But that's what my mind is doing.
I could have just... all of these same words could very well have just come out of me also.
Yeah.
I think one of the most seen I've ever felt is when Vincent read me and he said, I see an alien in a robot costume. Sounds like just what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because we end up not trusting our gut or being ourselves. Because we don't know how to exhibit it maybe appropriately or whatever.
Yeah.
And then try to read off of what people seem to want or their expectations and play to those as a way of having control.
Right.
I mean, I say we like it resonates. I don't know if it resonates, but I definitely think that that's part of my hypervigilance is definitely like I can't. This is why I'm not at ease around people because I don't... Like, you remember earlier in another context, you were like, when there's uncertainty, it makes me absolutely crazy. That's how I feel. And that's what kicks my hypervigilance up around other people because I don't know. I'm trying to read what I'm supposed to be, probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm totally can 100%. I say the alien thing
Well,
all
good.
the time.
Awesome. Okay.
I mean, at least you're not alone.
Yeah.
If you're an alien, I'm another
Then
one
we're-
walking
yeah,
around
exactly.
in a human suit going, I don't know how to do this, guys.
Yeah. I know.
I think we're getting the hang of it, though.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like, I don't know, I've been trying to shed my need for acceptance. It's such a conscious effort, though. It's like, it's so, like, I have to, it just takes such an awareness and effort. It's not like, because if I don't, then I just end up, I'm already programmed to just kind of like mirror people just for the sake of being welcomed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Well, I mean, it's hard because, yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you make me think of Brene Brown when you say, like, I try to shed my need for acceptance because I think we're hardwired on some level to want to belong. So I guess it's just being, because I think we're naturally vulnerable and we're naturally going to also be rejected sometimes. But I think putting yourself out there, that it sounds like you are absolutely doing, is like absolutely the right thing. But you don't have to shed that, because I think that's what I was saying when I was saying, like, it's really lonely in those meditation retreats. And then when you asked me if I wanted to do the 20-day, I said I didn't know, and that I might feel that other people ground me. There might be nothing wrong with that. There might be nothing wrong with the fact that we are socially dependent. Even Hermit J, might need people.
Right.
Might need a sense of belonging, sense of connection, and these things. I've had dreams tell me, like, what, like, so many islands in my dreams when I was off traveling by myself. They're like, why are you off by yourself? This is not what people do. Yeah. Like, I think there's something helpful about, I don't know. This is a long riff, but I'm trying to say that those things might not go away, and that might be wiring that is okay to have, and it might be needed, and it might actually enrich your life when you find the right people around.
Absolutely. And I think for me anyway, it's like, it's not necessarily a need for acceptance that's the problem, even though I kind of overdone it, but it's feeling that I need to erase myself to be accepted.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's like, in a lot of ways, I have to like relearn what my personality even is.
Yes.
You know, with people, you know?
Yes.
So it's like...
And you don't even probably know that you're doing it when you are erasing yourself. Yeah, there's such a fine line between wanting to adhere to social norms so that you can keep peace in an environment and completely erase. I think there's such a... Yeah. It's hard to know.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. Yeah. Where those lines are. I don't know my personality either. No. I think we're digging for it.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't interrupt you.
No, you didn't. It's just, it's fascinating to me. Yeah. You would say that, because that's like interesting.
I don't think we know. I don't think it's easy to know when you start to erase yourself if you accidentally do it in general.
Yeah, I know.
Because maybe it starts with just talking to somebody, and then it maybe doesn't go the way you would hope or expect, and then maybe things are kicking in, and before you know it, it started, maybe I want to make a connection from one human to another. And then it becomes, I will throw myself away so that we can keep talking or something. I don't know how this person becomes so high all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But it happens quickly.
It really does. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really just about knowing that being however you are will be received by people who are for you. And then the people who aren't for you, then it doesn't matter anyway, you know.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss said, like,
those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
That's it. Yep. That's it. Teachers all over the place.
I know.
In all walks of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard. Especially when it feels like you're walking through a desert of, like, my people aren't here.
Right.
I don't have enough of my people. And I've just been trying to reassure myself, because we were talking about this earlier. Like, I think there's a wound of just like wanting to be seen and understood by the right people, but I don't have enough of them around me in enough ways.
Right.
But I think maybe that they're out there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to have faith that more of them will show up.
Yeah. Me too.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I don't want to stop. We should keep exhibiting the things. We should keep exhibiting the things that make us keep trying to deal with the rejections in order to be vulnerable. And then I think these things we can get stronger such that these things don't hurt after a while. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
The rejections, yeah. Probably we're getting hurt more by abandoning ourselves than by potentially going, that person didn't like me.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. Or not even having the thought in the first place. It's I don't know. Just giving it zero energy would be
sounds great.
Ideal.
Sounds fictitious,
some wild fantasy.
Oh, we're probably getting there. I think these conversations make us more aware.
Yeah, they do.
Do you feel like you
absolutely.
explore nuances that you didn't know were there?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, we're probably expanding our awareness.
I believe so.
So if we expand our awareness, I think that's all it takes.
Yeah.
I overvalue awareness, but isn't that everything?
No, I think it is. I think it is everything. Absolutely.
Because the more and more we get better at discerning that boundaries we were talking about, like when do we lose ourselves and when do we, which I think are super subtle and hard to find if you don't have experience. If we get our discernment better, then we hold some sort of really strong line. Yeah. And then we can get better at the discernment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think there's something really powerful about someone going, yeah. I mean, these are goals, but someone going, like it or leave it, bro. That'd be good. Goals, but maybe I'm spelling out the obvious, but
no, I think you're right. You're right.
I want this.
Yeah, me too.
I want this strength. I want the strength to be disliked.
Yeah.
And not backpedal.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Me too. How are you feeling?
Good. Complete. Do you feel complete?
Yeah,
all right,
I'm
let's
complete.
rock and roll.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching.